Hey buddy, Luxinda Swirl here. I'm starting a new tumbler project. This is very similar to the one I just did recently, where I started with a black spray painted tumbler. I added some clear resin and then a whole bunch of different colors, blues, greens, and a couple pink and purples in alcohol inks. And then even though you couldn't see anything, I brought the color out by mixing a little bit of Piñata Blanco in a tiny bit of resin, and then I drizzled that all over the cup, and it brought out the different colors and moved things around a little, and it was gorgeous. And I do have it here. This was the end result. Just absolutely stunning. I love how this turned out. What we're doing here today is the same technique, but to make a coffee and cream tumbler on a coffee cup. This is a 14-ounce stainless steel double wall vacuum coffee cup from, I think it's a Stainless Steel Depot. I think this is a Hog. So I've already spray painted it brown. I missed a spot here, so I'm gonna have to hit that good with brown alcohol ink to make sure it actually looks brown. And I'm gonna put a layer of clear resin on it, and I'm gonna drop these 3 browns. I vowed after I did the last coffee and cream tumbler that had a little bit of yellowness in some of the browns, and those 2 browns were Ranger Holt's browns. Well, I think one was butterscotch and one was espresso, and those should be fine. Maybe the espresso was all right, maybe it was just the butterscotch and that was my fault. It looked really good on a paper towel, but it looked a little yellow in the finished cup. So I said to myself, Self, the next time we do a coffee and cream, you're just using these 3 browns from Woody's Goodies. So that's what I'm going to use today. I'm going to put lots of Kahlua, rum and Coke, and Long Island iced tea all over this after I put on an initial layer of clear resin. And I'm going to mix up 2 little medicine cups with a couple milliliters of resin in each medicine cup. In one, I'll do the Piñata Blanco. In the other, I will do Cast and Craft opaque pigment in white pearl, or just pearl. I have it sitting upside down because all the sparkly pearl essence is at the bottom, and I want to start moving around so I can shake it up good. So that's what we're gonna do. I just wanted to clue you in before I gear up and all that. And you can sit back and watch the show. And we're back. All right, let's see what we have this morning. I tell you, this ALE epoxy is really nice stuff, but it's definitely different than the KS resin I'm used to. There's no doubt about that. It's been more than 12 hours and the surface is dry to the touch completely, but very soft. I could absolutely leave a dent in this with a fingernail, which I don't want to do, so I'm not going to show you that part, but I could. You'll have to take my word for that. I love the shine, I love the finish. I think it'll cure up fine in a couple of days, but it's different. KS resin at this same point in time, more than 12 to 14 hours later, would be hard and I could tap on it with my fingernail and not make a dent. So that is different. The work time is longer than the liquid stone, which is what I would have normally used, the KS liquid stone. This is 20 to 25 minutes working time. KS liquid stone is 15 minutes working time. So this was much thinner in general, even though I tried to let it set for a bit before I started the process. It was still pretty runny. The white and the pearl, when I added the alcohol ink and the pearl pigment to the different little bits of resin, they became extremely runny. Alcohol does that, it makes resin runnier. So I wasn't terribly surprised, but I wasn't sure how my white and pearl would turn out because it was really moving fast when I put it to bed. So I didn't really expect a whole lot of in-place swirling, and sure enough, I got mostly horizontal movement, I guess you would call that. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I love the little bit of sparkle that the pearl gives it while still looking like coffee with cream. Would I have been happy with more swirls, or happier with more swirls? Yes, probably. Kind of like this down here, but all over. But that's okay. This was a learning experience. Like I say, I have never used ALE for an alcohol ink swirl of any kind. So this was a test of sorts, and I love how it turned out. I'm very happy with it. Now it gets a decal. I will put her name on one side. She's a righty, so her name will go here. And I will also put a decal on the bottom, something she likes, just as an extra little surprise. And then another coat of epoxy resin on top, and off it will go. But I think this is beautiful. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I'm very happy with the epoxy resin from A Little Extra, ALE. No bubble issues at all. None. There usually aren't bubble issues with alcohol inks because the alcohol, as you saw, I put it all over the cup. Everywhere, every bit of surface had alcohol dropped onto it. So there shouldn't have been any bubbles anyway. And then the heat I added, that was the other thing. Because this was already a little bit thinner than the liquid stone, when I added all that heat with the heat gun at the end, I made it way too runny at that point. In fact, it was dripping off. The cup. I usually don't want it that runny. It was a bit of a learning curve. I'm glad I tested it out. I think this turned out beautiful, but I would do a couple things differently. I will probably go back to my liquid stone for alcohol ink tumblers and not get as carried away with heat at the end, because I want swirls, but I don't want so much movement that everything just sort of settles into this horizontal circular thing, and then you get this instead of interesting swirling patterns. But very happy. Hope my customer likes it. Stay safe, everyone. I will see you in the next video.